Hi and welcome back to the latest Steve's Amateur Garage video. Great to have you along. Today we're going to carry on replacing the top engine mount on the MGTF, my daily driver, just on over 110,000 miles now. If you've been following the video, you will have seen that we replaced the passenger side one with a bit of a struggle, and we're now going to have a go at the driver's side. In theory, it should come off easier because the nuts and bolts that we're going to remove, you tend to remove them when you're changing the timing belt anyway. So let's go. Safety first, as always. We have the negative terminal removed from the battery. Car is safely jacked up and on its stands, and we have the engine access cover removed. The first step in the removal process is to remove the suspension trailing arm. I get this bolt out the way, loosen this one and the one underneath here, and then the one that's attached to the subframe is at a bit of a funny angle inside. It's difficult to get a big long socket on it, but I've got it, so it's probably easier as a two-man job, but it's undone and I'll get that out the way. So that one there is the trailing arm big long nut, and I managed to get it with a wobbly socket, and that will be off very soon. Here we are on the top of the engine. We've now got good access to it. We can now work on those two main mount bolts. They're onto 100 Newton meters, so they're tight. We've already removed this bolt here, that's out the way, and this one on the top of the mount just underneath this cable here. Just can't get the angle on it at the moment, just gets in the way of the bodywork. So might have to loosen the whole structure off with a couple of bolts that are right down there. There's one, and there's the other one, and a couple over this side that are way down there as well. Get those loosened off and then try and get a better angle on that top mount bolt. If not, I'll take the whole structure out and have a go at it on the bench. And the next step is to remove this plastic covering panel. Just a couple of screws and a little clip and it'll be out the way. As suspected, the two big bolts there that hold the engine mount firmly in place, I've got my wobbly socket on the end of it, a couple of big bars and a couple of extension bars on either end here. They're onto 85 Newton meters, so they don't really want to come apart very easily. Fair bit of force is required, but it has cracked, and I'll work on the other one. So now we've got the big jack and the block of wood underneath the engine so we can support it, because we're about to remove the right-hand engine mount. Now the whole structure that the mount is on has a couple of bolts down the bottom there, and you can see I've got the wobbly socket on it and a couple of fairly long extensions with the T-bar on the top, and I've had to have an extension on the T-bar because it was on moderately tight, but it's been on a while, so a fair bit of force required, but one has loosened off, and I'll get the other one and then I'll work on the other two down there. Managed to get this bolt, one of the two holding the left hand side of the structure there, with just a small socket. It was quite tight, but just enough room to get a turn on it, and it's loosened off, so that's handy. So the two bolts that hold the right hand side, one of them bolts upwards and the other one bolts downwards, both with captive nuts by the look of it, and they also go through that bracket that holds the trailing arm. But it should be easy to get that one there, and then we'll work on the other one that goes the other way. Yep, wobbly socket on the end again, and then a few extension bars, T-bar on the top. Again, give it a bit of force, and we've got that one as well. All good. steady progress here. We've got the 2 bolts out that hold the bracket at the front there, and you can see this bracket that holds the suspension has moved away from it. It's loose up at the top there, and it's loose at the top, so it's got a bit of movement in. I'll play around with that, and hopefully we'll get enough. We can jack the engine up a little bit, and hopefully we'll get enough space to get the whole arm with the mount out. Okay, a little bit of whittling, raise the engine up a little bit, and it's dropped out fairly easily. I think that I can maneuver that to get it right out the way, like that. Good, halfway there. Interestingly enough, now that we've got the whole structure out the way, you can see that the mount itself has completely split the rubber around here and just come apart. It should look like that. So this could be the cause of our issue, but now we've got to get that bolt and that bolt out the way, and also this big nut, but should be able to get that in the vise and get a good grip on it. Yeah, let's clean them up and see how we go. Okay, try and get that nut there and get a bit of heat on it. Yes, quite a bit of heat, a few cycles, and it's given up and the nut is coming off. They are the 2 bolts that we have to get out of this arm. They look to be steel bolts into some sort of alloy, aluminium possibly. That's never a good combination, they tend to fuse together. But we'll do the same trick. We'll get a bit of heat on them, work them backwards and forwards, and see if we can get them out. Okay, so I have the whole structure in the vise, and I just gave this a bit of a wiggle and it just fell apart in my hand. That doesn't look very good, but at least we've now got good access to the bolts. We should be able to get a socket right on there, looks like 13mm, and see if we can get that out the way. Okay, I think we have success on this one. Copious amounts of heat. It's still steaming away, so careful. We had to get it really hot, 5 or 6 cycles, and you can see I used the Tipex method, so that little white mark there was round there, and I've managed to turn it a quarter of a turn. We'll get some penetrating fluid under there and loosen it up. I did the same on the bottom, so I knew I wasn't just spinning the head and not turning the actual thread as well, but that has turned. If it doesn't turn at the bottom but turns at the Tipex moves at the top, then you know you're about to snap the bolt. But this one is all good. Just this one to go, which I suspect is going to be the same procedure. So there we are, building it back up on the bench. We have the 2 mounting bolts on and torqued up to 45 Newton meters. The top nut, they say leave loose and tighten it up once it's in the car. I think it's a little bit difficult to get at, but we'll do as it says. And we should now be able to put this back, or whittle it back underneath the car, back into place, and put the fixing bolts in and see how we go. Well, that's another tough job done. Don't think you'll do it in a couple of hours, because you won't, but take your time, plan for a weekend, and you should get there, nice and steady. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, because we've got a very important video coming up soon. would you believe it? The head gasket has finally gone. So the big job will be up next. You all take care. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.